Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is surely an exciting one for us all. I've always wanted to watch a what if Serena went to Alola with Ash, what if, but whenever I see people do them, they never finish them, so today I took it into my own hands to create a what if scenario where Serena went to Alola with Ash, but it's a full series, but in a way it's sort of a rewrite for Sun and Moon as well, as I'll be changing up some teams and adding some characters in earlier than their canon counterpart. Really quick, I just want to mention that 98% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you could please scroll down to see if you're subscribed, and if you're not, please consider subscribing as it shows me that you enjoy my content, and it really means a lot to me. Anyway, let's get into Ash and Serena, the new Alolan adventure.
I could get used to this heat on my skin. I can feel every day I'm a little bit stronger. I only wish each day was longer. Yeah, we're having fun in the sun. Week after week, it's just like I'm on vacation. Yeah, now our journey's begun. Friends to the end, number one's our destination. Under the Alolan sun, Pokemon.
Ash and Serena arrive with Pikachu and Braixen in the Alolan airport. After leaving the airport, Serena and Ash walk down a path, enjoying the beautiful nature of Alola. They see a huge building and they rush over to it, but they don't see anyone around, just a few Pokemon. And then, a girl with blonde hair walks up to them and asks if they are new students. Ash and Serena are confused and say that they aren't, and ask where a school would even be, as they haven't seen a building resembling a school anywhere around here. The girl laughs and says that they are standing within the school grounds and points to the big building and states that that is the Pokemon school. Shocked, Ash says that he wouldn't have guessed that that big building was a Pokemon school. Serena then introduces herself and Braixen. Ash does the same, saying his signature line,
I'm Ash from Pallet Town. This is my partner Pikachu.
Lily greets them both, and then introduces herself, but then slowly backs up from Pikachu and Braixen. And then a girl with green hair walks up to her, asking who she's talking with. Lily then introduces everybody together, and then Mallow and Lily take Ash and Serena to their classroom, and the only one there being Kiawe. And then walks in Professor Kukui. He greets everybody and then tells he has some exciting news for everyone, but he's not allowed to reveal it just yet. Kukui then asks Lily, Serena and Ash to come with him, as he takes Serena and Ash to Iki Town with Lily. They then all make it to a pair of stairs, and then standing at the top of the stairs is the Kahuna of the island. Kahuna Holla then walks down, and Professor Kukui introduces Ash and Serena to him. Ash then asks Holla what a Kahuna is, and then Holla explains that the Kahuna is the person who has taken the role to lead their island, and also the final challenge for the Island Challenge. Not only that, they have a close relationship with the Island Guardian. Ash then asks, in a confused tone, what a Island Challenge is, and what the Island Guardian is. Holla tells Ash that the Island Challenge is a challenge only a few trainers can partake in. It's where you travel around all 4 islands of Alola, and then partake in challenges and tasks given to you by a trial captain, and the battle part is taking part with a totem Pokemon. Ash then thanks Holla for the explanation. Holla tells Ash not to worry about it, as it's his duty as the Kahuna to explain the culture of Alola. And then Holla's grandson comes down and greets everybody. Holla then says that this is his grandson Hal. Serena and Ash then greet him with Hal doing the same. Hal then turns to Ash and asks if he is a Pokemon trainer. Ash tells Hal that he is, and his dream is to become a Pokemon Master. Hal laughs, rubbing the back of his head, stating that he isn't quite sure what a Pokemon Master is, but it sounds pretty cool. Hal then challenges Ash to a battle, with Ash happily accepting, and then everybody agreeing to move someone more appropriate for the battle. Hal then tells Ash that the battle will be a one-on-one. He then states that he will be beating Ash using his brand new Pokemon that he only got yesterday, being Rowlet. Pikachu jumps from Ash's head, while Rowlet floats down after being sent out by Hal. Pikachu and Rowlet then on the floor, ready and excited to battle. Pikachu uses a Thunderbolt, while Rowlet uses a Razor Leaf. These two attacks collide, but it's no contest. Pikachu's Thunderbolt way overpowers Rowlet's Razor Leaf, as it's competed in many leagues, and Rowlet had its first battle a few hours back. Pikachu's Thunderbolt smashes through the Razor Leaf, slamming into Rowlet, taking him out instantly. Hal then recalls Rowlet, shocked with how powerful Ash is. Pikachu then turns to Ash, with a happy smile on his face, jumping back on his head. Everybody walks back up to Hal and Ash, congratulating Ash on the win. Kukui then tells everybody that they have to leave, so Ash, Serena, Lily, and Kukui say goodbye to Hal and Holla. Whilst they're all walking, Serena asks Kukui where they're all going. Kukui then tells him that he's going to his house. Confused, Serena asks Kukui why they are all heading to his house. Kukui then states that his house is also his lab. Ash gets pumped up and asks if there will be a lot of Pokemon around his lab/house. Kukui then states that there will be quite a few Pokemon roaming around, most of them being regional variants found only in the Alola region. Ash then looks to Serena as they both have a big smile on their face, excited to meet a bunch of new Pokemon found only within the Alola region. They all arrive outside of Kukui's house. Ash and Serena ask Kukui where the lab is. Kukui tells them that they are standing right in front of it. Ash, then confused, asks that it doesn't really look like a lab and if he is sure. Kukui states that he is, that the house is also a lab because there is downstairs where the lab area is. Ash says that he doesn't really understand it, but he doesn't really mind as long as there's a bunch of cool Pokemon inside that he hasn't seen before. Serena and Braixen look at each other a bit confused, but nevertheless, they decide to walk in with the others. Once inside the house, Kukui tells Ash and Serena they are welcome to stay as many nights as they need, as long as they don't mind sharing the house with all the Pokemon, himself and Lily. Ash, with absolutely zero hesitation, agrees and thanks him. Serena, seeing no hesitation with Ash's answer, she decides to agree as well. Lily then states that she isn't feeling well and that she has to head up to her room. She then apologizes for the abrupt absence of herself. She then quickly rushes upstairs. Once upstairs, she looks around, sees her bag, and runs over to grab it. She then opens it up with a small Pokemon floating out. Kukui tells Ash and Serena to make themselves feel at home as he has to quickly go do some research. Ash and Serena then thank him and say goodbye. Ash and Serena both decide to head outside. Once outside, Serena tells Ash that she thinks she's going to go quickly explore some more of the island. Ash tells Serena that that's a great idea, causing her to blush. He then decides that he'll tag along. Whilst they both walk on a path, they begin to discuss how weird Lily was acting, but they decide to shrug it off as they only just met her and don't want to seem too judgy. And then out of nowhere, an Execute rolls, falling in front of Ash from the forest. Ash is visibly concerned as it seems like it's hurt, but this causes Serena to scream as it was out of nowhere and it was rolling really fast. Ash can tell that something is wrong, so he picks it up, seeing how hurt it is, and tells Serena that they must find a Pokemon Center very fast. They both run off trying to find a Pokemon Center, and they eventually do. They then walk inside, greet Nurse Joy, and explain the concerns about this poor Execute. She then grabs the Pokemon from Ash, and tells them both not to worry about it as she'll quickly do a checkup. She then walks off to go do her scan. Serena then looks to Ash, and can see that he has a concerned look on his face, that he is clearly worried about Execute. She assures him that everything will be fine. He thanks her, but then abruptly gets interrupted by people yelling at something. They turn around to see Team Skull. Team Skull can be seen yelling at a beaten up Alolan Sandshrew. Ash and Serena then rush over there, scolding the grunts for harassing them on. The grunts then turn to Ash and Serena and tell them to mind their own business. Ash then again tells them to leave the Pokemon alone, and then the confident grunt then challenges Ash to a battle. Ash, concerned for the Pokemon, agrees to. Ash sends out Pikachu, while the grunt sends out Salandit. Pikachu rushes towards Salandit, but then lifts its body up using an Electro Ball, which sends flying towards Salandit. While Pikachu is falling to the floor, the Electro Ball is getting closer and closer to the Salandit, causing it to freeze. As Pikachu lands on the floor, the Electro Ball slams into Salandit's stomach, making it fall onto the floor, taking it out. In shock, the grunt then recalls his Pokemon, and then the two grunts tell Ash and Serena that this isn't over, and they've started something that they shouldn't have, and then they both run off scared. Ash then ignores them, and then looks to Pikachu thanking it, and then walks over to Serena asking if the Pokemon is okay. Serena tells Ash that she isn't sure, but by the looks of it, probably not. But lucky for them, Nurse Joy comes back with a fully healed Execute. Ash thanks Nurse Joy, and then tells her about the hurt Pokemon on the floor, and he tells her that he isn't sure what it is, but he can tell that it's beaten up. Nurse Joy thanks him and then picks up the Pokemon, informing Ash that it's an Alolan Sandshrew. Hal then walks in, out of breath. Ash asks him what's up, and Hal tells Ash that two grunts stole his Alolan Sandshrew and he saw them hidden here. Hal then turns to see his Alolan Sandshrew in Nurse Joy's arms. He turns and sheds a tear, apologizing that he wasn't able to protect it. Nurse Joy tells Hal not to stress too hard about it, as he does look a little bit battered up, but nothing she can't handle. She then says goodbye to Ash and Serena, thanking them for their help, and then walks off with Hal following her. Execute then turns to Ash in awe, and then starts trying to call out to it. Ash turns around, realizing what it's trying to say, and then pulls out a Pokeball, throwing it towards Execute, catching it. Ash then walks over, picking up the Pokeball, and sending out his brand new Execute. He then welcomes him to the team, with Pikachu waving hello. Ash then decides to put the Pokeball away, so Execute can get some nice air and relax a little. Ash and Serena then walk out the Pokemon Center, shocked and exhausted, and honestly surprised with how much has already happened to them with it only being their first day in Alola. They then both make it back to Kukui's house, and then walk in and are greeted by Kukui and Lily. They both inform them of what happened on their walk. The next day, everyone is at the Pokemon school, so that Ash and Serena can get a tour of the school. They then end up running into Kiawe and Lana. Ash and Serena greet Lana and Kiawe, happy to see that Lana is a nice chill person, but the same can't be said about Kiawe, as still Kiawe isn't the most fond of Ash, giving him a stern look. Out of nowhere, Ash is challenged by Kiawe. Ash nervously accepts. Once in position, they agree on a 2-on-2 battle, only being allowed to switch once. Ash decides to start with Pikachu, while Kiawe starts with Charizard. Pikachu then jumps out, using a Thunderbolt, which lands. Pikachu ended up putting a lot of energy into that one attack, knowing that Charizard could be a potential very bad enemy. And also, Pikachu is a very seasoned battler, and Charizard hasn't really had as much experience as Pikachu, and is also kind of retired. It sadly faints. Kiawe, shocked with that outcome, recalls Charizard and then sends out Turtonator, with Pikachu jumping towards Turtonator. Kiawe then smirks as Turtonator turns its back, and Pikachu jumps, landing on his back, causing a huge explosion via contact. Pikachu then goes flying, landing in front of Ash. Pikachu then gets up, a bit weary, and turns to Ash, as Ash tells him to come back and lets Execute jump in. Once on the battlefield, Execute uses Hypnosis, putting Turtonator to sleep, surprising Kiawe. He then uses Dream Eater, Kiawe then gets an idea, and then yells out to Turtonator, surprisingly waking it up. The pair then locks eyes, and then face towards Ash. The pair then performs the same dance using the Z move, which lands, taking Execute out, with Ash catching it. Pikachu then jumps back in, but gets interrupted as a big Pokemon flies in front of Ash and Pikachu with a Z-ring in hand. Everyone in the surrounding area beside Ash and Serena, all in sync, call out Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko then floats the Z-ring with an Electrium Z towards Ash. The Z-ring then clicks around Ash's wrist, and then Ash has a really weird feeling as if he knows exactly what to do with his Z-ring, and so does Pikachu. Ash and Pikachu then look up to Tapu Koko and thank it. Tapu Koko then nods to them both and then flies off. Still in shock, Kiawe wasn't prepared for what Ash had in store next. Ash and Pikachu then perform the dance for the Z-ring. The attack lands with electricity surging all around Turtonator, taking it out, crowning Ash the winner. Kiawe then walks to Turtonator as Pikachu lands on the ground. Everybody then walks up to them, shocked with what just took place. Kiawe quietly pats Turtonator on the back, thanking it for the battle, and then he recalls it. Kiawe then looks to Ash, telling him that he isn't sure how he did it, but he somehow earned the respect of the Island Guardian Tapu Koko, and if him winning the battle wasn't enough, him earning the respect of the Island Guardian Tapu Koko was definitely more than enough for him to respect him as well. Ash laughs, rubbing the back of his head, stating that he isn't sure what happened, or how he even earned the respect of Tapu Koko. Kukui then turns to Ash, telling him that he was meant to give him this earlier, and then pulls out an empty Pokedex case. He then grabs out a Pokeball and recalls out Rotom and apologizes for not doing this sooner, as he was busy doing some quote-unquote research. Once Rotom sees the case, it happily flies into it. Once fully installed in the case, it fires up, sighing, saying that it feels good to finally be out of a Pokeball. Kukui then turns to Rotom, telling it that it will be accompanying Ash and Serena while they have their stay here in Alola. Rotom then flies to Ash and Serena, putting its hand to its head like it's saluting Kukui, and then says that he's accepting the task. Everyone laughs as Ash and Serena thank Kukui and then greet Rotom, but they are cut short as a man walks up saying, "So, you're Ash, the one with the special Greninja and the runner-up of the Kalos League." Alright everybody, that is it for this part. Please be sure to let me know what your favourite part of this part was. And also, how do you feel about how much was introduced into this part? And also, how do you feel about the approach I took with Kiawe's character being a stern Pokemon trainer who has to have the respect earned? And finally, who do you think it was, the man being the person who knew of Cash's loss and his special bond with Greninja from the Kalos League? Alright, that is all for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you all follow me for my next adventure, and just make sure you are ready and prepared to meet a lieutenant.